first question for you is, what was the biggest risk you took in your 20s?
I'd say the biggest risk I took in my 20s was exploring my passion for stand-up comedy. Uh, Stand-up comedy was something that I always just loved growing up. The great stand-up comedians were really the greatest entertainment I ever enjoyed as a young person. And I got a little taste for it in college when I was on the debate team, where I had a forte for what was called individual speaking competition, where you were to give a extemporaneous speech for 5 minutes immediately following being issued a topic to speak on. And it was a competition with other students from other schools. And usually the funny speech won. And so I had a knack for that, just sort of naturally, and found myself winning these tournaments from time to time. And then I learned that one of my competitors, who was a very strong competitor, was actually doing stand-up comedy. And I thought, wow, that was just sort of some sort of a pipe dream. And now it looks like it's maybe attainable because somebody like me is doing it. So I decided to pursue that the summer before I started medical school, and then continued it through the first year and a half of medical school. And that was a risk because medical school is very challenging. It demands a lot of time and energy, but so does stand-up comedy. And the 30 to 40 hours a week I would spend on stand-up comedy in the summer, and then maybe the 15 to 20 hours I spent during the weeks of the school year could have been spent on my pursuit of my MD. And trying to ride both of those rails was a risk, but it proved to be a worthwhile risk. I did not exit medical school and go into a stand-up comedy career, but the passion that I got to cultivate and the skill sets, frankly, that I cultivated as well, served to not only keep me happier and more joyful, but were able to be folded back into my career later in ways I wouldn't have expected, but in ways which turned out to be very practical and very beneficial. So it was a risk, but there was certainly a reward.